I forgot to fulfill a promise that I made to you guys last week, and it was concerning the birthday party that I attended last week, Friday. It was the birthday party, the novel idea for a photographer friend of mine and a makeup artist who happened to share the same birth date as he does. They decided to come together and host a what would I call it? Business roundtable of sorts, where photographers and makeup artists would gather and discuss on lots of things business related. So basically, we'd get to sit down, have some good food, have some cake, have some drinks, but then also discuss about the way forward regarding our respective industries. And then there was also going to be a photo shoot at the end of the day, and a session where the makeup artist would share tips about how we could get our retouching a whole lot better. There were some photographers who looked forward to that second part because, as photographers, we don't know much about makeup. We don't know the difference between the blush and the highliner or the highlighter or whatever all those technical things are. And so sometimes when photographers take the mouse or the Wacom tablet and they start doing their editing, they do what they think is a good job, according to the photographer's eye, but they may end up botching the intended art, the intended finished product that the makeup artist or the bride had in mind. So I know some photographers who are looking forward to that aspect of the celebration. That's the practicals part. And of course, you've been listening to this podcast for a while. You know that I'm not really into all that jazz. The what will I call them? Photo sessions and stuff like that. I'm much more for the business conversations. And so I had already decided and told both of them that I was only going to be around for the first half, which was the business section. So I also promised you guys that I was going to share details about how that went, and that is what I'm going to do today. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't even able to stay for the business session because the program didn't start on time. It was scheduled to start at 10 o'clock, and I had some personal difficulties that day, so I had been on the phone with birthday boy because he's the one that I know. I don't really know the birthday girl. I mean, we see her once in a while. But birthday boy is the one that I know. So I had been on the phone, apologizing profusely that I was running late, and I got there at about 10:20 for a program that was supposed to have started at 10 o'clock. And of course, I arrive, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm late, and terribly late, because the program was supposed to start at 10 o'clock, and I was there for 10:20. And he's like, no wahala, you know how our people are. I'm the only one here. And so that's it. So he was the only one there, arrived at 10:20, and we just spent a lot of time catching up because we chat on the phone every once in a while. But since his nightclub in Utako, I can't remember if it was a nightclub or something like that, nightclub or a bar. So since the bar closed down in Utako, I think last year, this was the first time that we were seeing. So we're just pretty much catching up, shooting the breeze, no serious talk, a little bit of business. But I didn't want him to run dry on what his own contributions would be, so we didn't have much business conversations. And then the owner of the studio was there, and so just generally, we're just there chilling, kicking back, having some fun. The birthday girl, the makeup artist, she showed up. Her kids are absolutely adorable, and so it was just a fun, convivial atmosphere. And anyway, I was scheduled to leave there at 1. And to be honest, the program started more like 12:30. Yes, you heard me correctly. There was a program for photographers in Abuja and makeup artists, which was supposed to start at 10. The earliest person who arrived there, which was me, and I arrived late. I got there at 10:20. Eventually, we had to start at 12:30, even though not everybody was present, just because it was getting ridiculous, so we had to get the show on the road. And that is one aspect of how we conduct business in this industry, especially photographers and makeup artists. I only know one makeup artist that when I hear her name, I know she's going to be on time, and I know that we're going to have a smooth program on the day. So whenever I speak to the bride or the planner, I'm like, "Who's the makeup artist?" and they call her name, I know that we're good to go. I know that if they say makeup is going to be 8 o'clock and makeup is going to finish at 8:45, I know that that is exactly what is going to happen, and you can be sure that we're going to be on church on time and the rest of the program on time. So, makeup artists, photographers, we have a really bad habit and a really bad reputation for not being there on time when the client says we should. I've known makeup artists who the bride will say, "Please be there at 5 a.m." And the makeup artist says, "Okay." Sorry, excuse me. But then, once everybody leaves the vendor meeting, the makeup artist, starts saying stuff like, "Me, 5 a.m. because of what? I should come and leave my house by 4:30 because of what? I beg you, I'll come at 7, I'll come at this, I'll come at that." So, and of course, photographers and videographers also having the same attitude. If there are circumstances where our clients don't have a realistic time frame for how the program should flow, then we owe it up to ourselves and to them to have those conversations up front. Now, okay, Madam Bride, you said the wedding is going to be at 11. So this 5 o'clock makeup, it's not workable because even if I show up at 5 and we're done on time and we do all the photos, you're going to have 2 hours of just staying idle or 3 hours of just staying idle. And that is 3 hours of your makeup getting smudged or your dress getting stained or etc., etc., etc. So we want to have those conversations up front rather than continuing to engage in all these habits that give us a bad reputation. And I really think that this is part of what affects not only our pricing potential, but the confidence that clients have in paying us in the first place. Because I think a lot of times, okay, let me not say a lot of times, I don't know what the ratio is, but I suspect that there are times that the bride and the groom can pay. They really can give you that 100K or that 500K or whatever. It's just that there have been lots of horror stories about people showing up late or not showing up at all, and so that's the reason why they're playing that security game. Now, yes, I agree with you that the security game is stupid and it doesn't work, because the truth of the matter is, if I say give me 500K and they're trying to play the security game and they only give me 250, but I don't show up at all, I'm the one who benefits at the end of the day because I've gotten 250K for doing absolutely no work at all. So yes, I agree with you, dear wedding industry professional, that this security game doesn't work, and it's not in the bride's and groom's best interest, because really they should just pick people that they trust, because that is the only security that they will have, people that they trust and people who have been they have vetted, or that people in their personal networks have vetted, because that's the only security. Because if you play the security game, the person can just take the deposit and bail, and then you are going to be really worse for the day. So anyway, our clients don't know that the security game is not in their own benefit, but I think these are some of the reasons why they play all these games with us. So, makeup artists, photographers, let's make it a habit to be on time, and let's try and revamp the reputation that we have in the industry and with our clients, because it's something that I get routinely, that a client says, okay, the party is going to start at 9 o'clock, and I say, okay, no problem, 9 o'clock, I'm going to be there 8:30 latest. And then I show up at 8:30, and then they're like, wow, a photographer who's on time. Wow. I get that reaction a lot. It's just because people have hired photographers in the past, or know people who have hired photographers in the past, who they told the party is going to start at 9 o'clock, and then the photographer calls at 9:15 to say, I'm sorry, I'm late, and the photographer arrives at the venue maybe 9:45. In fact, the worst that I have seen was my first Abuja wedding. I was supposed to shoot, I was hired by the bride's mother, and the bride had a celebrity photographer at the time who used to shoot for an international magazine, an international wedding magazine, a London-based international wedding magazine. Anyway, let me not say the magazine, because I guess if I say it, photographers will know who this dude is. So, I can't remember what time the wedding was supposed to start, but the celebrity photographer, he showed up when they were getting ready to leave the compound to head to church. So this one is not Dempsey. I saw this one live because I was the other photographer, the one who's being treated as the unwanted stepchild, because I show up, and this was maybe 9 years ago. So I'm a relative unknown at this point, and of course, the bride and her bridal party, they're all miffed. Like, who is this guy? Like, we already hired the main, the alpha and the omega. So who is this guy that Momsy is just bringing to come and shadow us unnecessarily? And anyway, that's an interesting story for another day. So yeah, we need to be more on our time game. So this is not it's not good at all, and it fosters a really poor impression about photographers and makeup artists. So really, we have to do better. So birthday boy is my guy, so it's not a problem. But let's say I was a paid speaker or a paid consultant coming in for the day to address photographers. I mean, this would have been a very poor showing of the day. Anyway, even though we started late, and even though I wasn't able to give my presentation, the birthday boy was able to talk us through a couple of things. He spoke about some of the training that he received for the Tony ELUMELU Foundation. And I guess for me, that was one of the more surprising things for the day, because I assumed that the Tony ELUMELU Foundation is run by this Nigerian billionaire who owns a bank. I can't remember which bank. I think they own the bank, and he has a holding company that owns Transcore Hilton and a couple of other businesses. So I assume that the ELUMELU Foundation, that the scholarship was aimed towards people who had, brick and mortar businesses, or who had commodities to buy and sell, or maybe tech people. I didn't know that those of us in the wedding industry space can get involved. So now that you know that a wedding photographer has been accepted into the program, I guess makeup artists, event planners, you guys can give it a try as well. I don't know what the details are, concerning the website and how you sign up for the program. But yeah, you've heard it on some authority that a wedding photographer was accepted into the program. So by all means, give it a shot. You never know. The endowments that come from these things can be hefty. The money is good, and apart from the endowments that you get, there's also the business support and what else? Mentorship and things like that you received. So he shared with us the benefits of riding along with the Tony ELUMELU Foundation, and the benefits that he received, the training that they received on how workplace culture and business culture and ethics affects your bottom line, your ability to charge more, to make more money, because the proper workplace culture and business culture and ethics directly tie into the value that you provide and the loyalty that you can get, not just from your employees but for your clients as well. He spoke about the training that they received on how these things can get goodwill for your business. Let's see what else. Okay, and then there was also the part where they were run through understanding management. Understanding management, that's for those people who have to deal with employees. I guess even for those of us who work with subcontractors, I guess that might not be bad information, bad training to have, to know how to handle scheduling, teams and things like that. And also a module on creating clear expectations. So that was pretty much what I got from him about the benefits of being in the Tony ELUMELU Foundation. Okay, he didn't receive a monetary award. I don't know how it works. So if you're interested, just use the Google machine, see what you can find about the Tony ELUMELU Foundation, and and then take it from there. So those are some of the interesting stuff that we got from his own presentation before I had to run, because I had a prior engagement I had to take care of. And there was this other photographer there, Ademola, but I'm not sure if he's the popular Ademola. I think it's Ademola or Lani Ron or Lani Won or something like that, a popular Abuja photographer. I didn't ask anyway. I suspect that he's the guy. And in our introductions, he spoke about how what we were doing was important because passion is in business. And it's something that I figured that would happen again because we had some, because we had some young people in the crowd. So there are folks like me and Ademola who had been in the business, roughly 1 decade. But then the other people who introduced themselves were photographers who have been at it 2 years, 4 years. I think apart from Demola and I, the next oldest people in terms of business were, I think, 5 years, 5 and 4. The birthday girl, the makeup artist, she's been in the business for 4 years. So, so that part, passion is in business, was something that I took from him and I ran with to just, to get the youngins to understand that it's not just enough that you are a that you're a passionate and talented photographer. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to parlay into success in business, because there are other things that you have to pay attention to. And of course, if you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, you will know that if you ask me, I'm going to start talking about why personal selling is important and how that is going to help you grow your business, distinguish yourself from other photographers. Other photographers you speak to will talk about things like online marketing, we'll talk about branding. All those things are important, but bottom line is passion isn't just the main thing. So it's not just I'm passionate and I'm talented. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to get into business success. So if I had been able to speak at the session, I was hoping to be able to grab maybe 5 minutes before I run. The question that I wanted to pose to them was what we all have in common being there, because it was supposed to be for photographers and makeup artists, but we ended up having some videographers in the mix. We also had some people from the some NGO people in the mix. What else? Okay, NGO, that's non-governmental organization. We also had a videographer in the mix, and I think someone with a theater, or was it TV? Yeah, TV production background. What else? There were other people there anyway, so it wasn't just photographers and photographers and makeup artists at the end of the day. So that's one question that I would have want to pose to everybody: that what do we all have in common? What's the purpose of and what the purpose of a business is? Because for me, I found that those are useful points to get the conversation rolling. Because when you're in a room and we have people across different disciplines, and you really have to think hard about what we have in common and what the purpose of a business is, it's easy to take that conversation from what we all have in common is business, and that the purpose of a business is to create a customer. So it's usually easy for me to now tie that into why sales and personal selling is important, and it's not something that we should shy away from because you think selling is scammy or selling is sleazy. So I was hoping that I would have been able to get some discussions going and prompt those kinds of bigger questions, deeper questions, because ultimately, Demola is right. Passion is not business, and it doesn't matter what it is that you do: photography, catering, cake, rearing chickens, selling shoes on Instagram, selling inverter batteries, solar panels. Passion isn't business. So I guess that's it. Those are the chief things that I want to share with you guys today. Number one, passion is in business. Number two, photographers and videographers, photographers and makeup artists, we have a really bad reputation when it comes to time management. So please, let's be on our game. And I think that's it. Oh, and okay, that creatives like wedding photographers can take part in the Tony ELUMELU Foundation program. So the endowments are real huge. So try and take advantage of that if you can. So wedding photographer got in, wedding planners, makeup artists, give it a go, and let us know how it goes. So thank you very much for listening to the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I'm your host, Abuja-based event and wedding photographer, Tavishima Ayede. Thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next recording. That will be tomorrow, Saturday. And remember that it's not going to be a recording on Sunday, because that's the day that I dedicate to the other podcast, the So You're Getting Married podcast, where we discuss things, marriage, and relationship related. One apart from that, I have a kiddies birthday party to photograph. So yeah, that's it. No recording on Sunday. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow.